How's it going, everyone? Welcome back. The Cincinnati Bengals have been quite active in free agency thus far, and it's looking more and more like we could be entering the end of free agency. Maybe the Bengals slide in there, snag up a running back, or they might slide in there and take another depth position. We've seen like the Sidney Jones signing. We might see a couple more of those. Depending what they do with Jonah Williams, maybe they try to get an insurance policy at right tackle. I feel like they address the depth in that area as well. So we'll see what they do, but it feels like they're really coming to the end of the book and the end of the chapter here as far as free agency of 2023 is concerned. And so with that being said, we have to look back and say, hey, how did the Bengals do in this free agency? You bring in the left tackle Orlando Brown Jr., obviously the cornerstone of this Cincinnati Bengals free agency, and a big signing. Massive signing. A-plus signing there if you want for the Bengals there. And then you look at some of the other positions they addressed. Irv Smith Jr., I think that's a great signing. We got our attention locked in on a couple other tight ends. Bengals did not get them, but I think Irv Smith fits the bill. He's been an injury-prone guy. Okay, so is Hayden Hurst. He's been an injury-prone guy, but he's also got a guy with a lot of athleticism, a lot of ability, and if he can stay healthy and play with Joe Burrow and his team, I think we get the most out of him. I think we get a very, very good tight end performance out of Irv Smith. So I think that fills the need there, gives them the chance to say, let's look tight end in the draft for the other side, develop this guy, groom this guy if we need to. You look secondary, they brought in some help there. Again, a little bit of depth, nothing too serious. A little bit of depth. Well, Nick Scott, though, potential starter there as well. I shouldn't say just depth, but you bring in the need. The areas where the Cincinnati Bengals needed to fill their needs, they went out, they attacked that in free agency. And not only did they do that, they did it at a very reasonable price. To a point where, if they really wanted somebody, they don't necessarily have to cut a guy like Joe Mixon. Or even if they were to trade Jonah Williams, that opens some cap space up. But I think they left themselves a lot of room for flexibility and a lot of room for play. Because there is times throughout the season, like the Zeke case, for example, he gets released and it's like, okay, I just want to latch onto a contender and I'll sign for a cheap deal. Maybe not Zeke, but there's other players that feel that same way. So when you leave yourself a little bit of cap room there, entering the season, entering the summer here, that kind of thing can happen. And teams that are waiting until July 1? They wait till that deadline there where they ain't got to pay him as much, or they, cut him in the salary, don't get hit the same, whatever. Might see some guys cut there, Bengals say, okay, we got some money to spend on a couple of these guys. We might scoop them up on a cheap. And I think for that reason, you look and say, I'm not really feeling like the Bengals overpaid anywhere. I thought they got a lot of value deals in free agency. I think they was patient, they was methodical. We didn't see them overpaid in the first couple of days. We was panicking a little bit as Bengals fans. There was a little restlessness there. Bengals said, don't you worry, we got this taken care of. And they go and slowly but methodically pick apart player after player. The value signings, we've seen this team do it a year in and year out now for a couple of years. Will they turn out? They've turned out in the past, and you have every reason to believe they will do it once again this season. As far as retaining players go, it was tough seeing Von Bell go. You expected Jesse Bates to go. It was hard seeing Von Bell. We'll see how that little hole, if there's a downside of this free agency, I think it was letting him go. They retained Jermaine Pratt on a really friendly deal, I thought, here. So overall, I thought this team did really well. If I gave him a grade, you got me thinking about that Von Bell thing again. I was over it. It took some time. Did get over it. Thinking about it again. No, I love Von Bell and his team. You retain Von Bell and you look at this free and say, hey, A+, I think, if you're the Bengals. We're going to give them, I still think they're sitting around like an A- in this range here. I thought they had a great offseason. Love you guys' thoughts. Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you next time.